Centuries have passed since the famed artist Leonardo Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. The iconic painting that hangs behind bulletproof glass within the Louvre Museum draws thousands of jostling spectators every day. It's the most famous painting in the world, yet when viewers manage to see the artwork up close, a lot of them are mostly puzzled, staring at the portrait of an ordinary woman. The Mona Lisa depicts a woman dressed modestly in a translucent veil, dark robes, and no jewelry. A lot has been said about her smiling gaze, but viewers who troop in daily from all parts of the world, more often than not, wonder what the fuss is all about. For years, that question has gone unanswered. The mystery behind the Mona Lisa seemed to be the one that would never be solved, until now. This is the Mona Lisa Demystified. Before we move on, leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be the first watching new episodes. There are many reasons to consider why the Mona Lisa is so popular in the art world and pop culture. Apart from the sitter's identity, the reason for the work's popularity is one cause for the many debates about the art piece. For years, experts have tried to piece together evidence to back up their claims for why the Mona Lisa is so popular in the art world. While many have tried to pinpoint one reason for the art piece's celebrity, almost all others agree that there's no one explanation. The Mona Lisa's popularity, according to them, is born out of many circumstances. Whether that's true or not, we have to first go back to take a sneak peek into the life of the man behind the painting. Who painted the Mona Lisa? The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci, an artist, scientist, and inventor during the Italian Renaissance. A quick backstory about Mr. Da Vinci. He's considered one of the most versatile polymaths of all time. Leonardo da Vinci was so smart and vast that the term Renaissance man, someone versatile in plenty of things, was coined based on his many talents. Apart from the Mona Lisa, he created a couple of other works that were equally as exquisite. From geometry to physics and anatomy, the man did everything. Judging by its creator's resume, the Mona Lisa was already on its way to being a highly regarded painting. Leonardo da Vinci was known as one of the most realistic painters of his time, so it was clear from the start that the Mona Lisa would generate a buzz. Still, the art's fame has left a lot of specialists stunned. The painting is believed to be worth more than $800 million. So what made this one, out of all of Da Vinci's works, so famous? Let's dive into a few specifics, shall we? The technique. Many theories have emerged, mainly since Leonardo da Vinci used several unique and innovative techniques to paint the Mona Lisa, most of which were unheard of at the time, but have gone on to become an essential part of art curriculums today. One such was the sfumato technique, a technique that loosely translated to painting in the form of smoke, without lines or borders. Back then, it was common for artists at the time to form an outline. Da Vinci, on the other hand, didn't use outlines. Instead, he employed different shades of paint to create the illusion of light and shadow. He then featured darker shades to highlight the features and borders of the subjects. The use of this technique, along with other unique characteristics of the Mona Lisa, caught the interest of the art circle and was hailed as a groundbreaking innovation in painting. It would seem that the mastery of Leonardo da Vinci was the reason for Mona Lisa's success. This was just one problem with this narrative. These were expert choices, and only a trained eye could spot these small points of uniqueness in the painting. It doesn't explain why everyone in the world wants to see it. The Mona Lisa's smile. Another reason to consider for the Mona Lisa's global appeal is her smile. Da Vinci used optical illusion to create a unique smile for the Mona Lisa. Many viewers have claimed that the subject's eyes followed them, and while sometimes it looks like she's smiling, other times she seems furious and sad. All that is thanks to his sfumato technique. When you look into the Mona Lisa's eyes, the mouth falls into peripheral vision, so the features of the mouth are slightly less pronounced. That, along with some light shading of the cheekbone, makes it look like she's smiling. However, once you take your eyes off of the eyes and focus on the smile, instead it slowly disappears, like there was never a smile in the first place. That's the beauty in Leonardo da Vinci's incredible detailing, and ultimately, what made this painting so unique compared to other portraits of its time. These tiny details give the painting an enigmatic quality and open rooms to a number of interpretations, leaving viewers wondering what the model was thinking, why she seems happy to some and sad to others, and most importantly, who she was. In other words, whose face inspired the most famous painting in history? Although many believe that the painting depicts Lisa Gherardini, the wife of the Florentine merchant Francesco del Giancana, no records of such a commission from Francesco exist. As far as we know, the painting could well be a depiction of a female version of Leonardo himself. No, we're not just pulling that theory out of thin air. Some section of the art community believe that Leonardo da Vinci decided that the best way to immortalize himself was to paint a female version of himself. That part of the story seems to remain elusive even to this day. It's even harder to figure out who the sitter is when you realize that in those days in Italy, Mona meant Madonna, which is how all women were addressed. Despite all of these qualities, many art scholars still point out that it was not enough to make the painting a celebrity. There are, after all, many good paintings. That part comes next. The fact that the painting's home is in the Louvre, one of the world's most visited museums, is a fortunate circumstance that has added to the work's stature. One thing that doesn't make it into stories about the Mona Lisa is how it made it into its new home. It arrived at the Louvre in the midst of a sketchy history, starting with Francis I, King of France, who was Leonardo's last patron. The painting became a part of the royal collection and was isolated in French palaces until the people took custody during the Revolution. After spending some time in Napoleon's bedroom, the Mona Lisa was moved to the Louvre Museum. The museum was gaining patronage at the time of the 19th century, so the painting saw a boost in visitors. An unlikely theft. Granted, the painting was already gaining some fans in the French art space, but the theft of the painting in 1911 and the media frenzy that followed brought with it worldwide attention. When news broke in August of the same year that the Mona Lisa had been stolen, the media went into panic mode, and the buzz caused an immediate sensation. Thousands of people rushed down to stare at the empty space that used to house the painting. The director of the museum resigned, and accusations spread like wildfire. Even Pablo Picasso was arrested as a suspect. A few years later, an art dealer in Florence contacted the local authorities after a man had spoken to him about selling the lost art piece. The painting was recovered from Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian immigrant to France who briefly worked at the Louvre. He and two other workers stole the painting from the wall, but with the apparent media attention that came with it, the painting became difficult to sell. He was arrested and convicted while the painting toured Italy before its triumphant return to the Louvre. By then, it had become a national treasure that the French people would no longer joke with. This was the first in a turn of events that shaped the Mona Lisa's popularity today. The Mona Lisa, no doubt, became more famous after the theft and discovery, but just a few years after, World War I happened and took most of the world's attention. Although many may argue, scholars believe that Marcel Duchamp's playful defacement of a postcard reproduction in 1919 brought attention back to the Mona Lisa and started a trend that would make the painting one of the most recognized in the world. He went against the typical worship of art when he drew a beard and mustache on the lady's face and added a vulgar French phrase at the bottom. This disregard for the iconic art caused some stir within the art community, and many other artists began to recognize the shock effect would bring them attention. And so, for decades after, other artists, including Andy Warhol, joined in creating caricatures and exaggerating the appearance of the Mona Lisa. As artists defigured and played with the reproductions of the Mona Lisa, cartoonists and ad men joined in on the fun. They took the exaggeration to another level, reprinting more and more versions of the Mona Lisa. Over time, as technology improved and it became easier to mass print, interest in the Mona Lisa spiked. The painting was massively reproduced, sometimes with exaggerating qualities and sometimes not, to the point that the sitter's face became one of the most well-known in the world, even to those who had little interest in art. The final boost to the painting's celebrity status came in 1963, when it made its way to the United States. The Mona Lisa traveled to the United States in style in a first-class cabin on an ocean liner. The portrait saw more than 40,000 people a day during its 6-week stay at the Metropolis Museum in New York and the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. That was the start of the life of affluence for the iconic painting. As travel became more and more affordable, more people could visit Paris and pay their respects to the masterpiece in person, contributing to the unyielding crowds and unprecedented worth today. No doubt, The Mona Lisa is a brilliant work of art, but its celebrity status may not be as planned as many people like to believe. The mystery of the Mona Lisa can be solved by attributing its fame to hundreds of circumstances. From its arrival at the Louvre to its theft and reproductions of the 20th and 21st centuries, all of these seemingly individual circumstances worked with the painting's appeal to make the Mona Lisa the iconic painting it is today. Thanks for watching. Leave the comment down below and let us know what we should feature next. Don't forget to subscribe for new and upcoming episodes.